I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda. Change for good. And I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it.
Just moments ago, Buckingham Palace confirmed news so heartbreaking it has left millions around the world in absolute disbelief. The announcement concerned none other than Prince William, the man long regarded as the steady heartbeat of the royal family and the living embodiment of calm, grace, and duty. Now, that very image has been shaken to its core. According to insiders close to the palace, what unfolded behind those gilded gates was nothing short of emotional chaos. Senior members of the royal household were seen rushing through the corridors, faces pale with shock, as they tried to process and respond to the devastating revelation. Few could have predicted that the future king, so often a symbol of strength, would become the center of a story that feels more human than royal. The official statement from Buckingham Palace dropped like a thunderclap. In an instant, television networks interrupted live broadcasts. News anchors struggled to find their words, and social media exploded with disbelief. Words like heartbreaking, devastating, and unimaginable filled timelines around the globe. It wasn't just a news update. It was a collective moment of sorrow shared by millions. Across Britain and beyond, time seemed to pause, as if the entire world stopped to hold its breath. Prince William has always been viewed as the calm in the storm, the bridge between centuries of royal tradition and a new era of empathy. His quiet strength and measured presence have made him a beloved figure, not just as the heir to the throne, but as a husband, father, and man of principle. Yet, behind the polished public image lies a deeper truth, one that even the most loyal royal watchers could never have imagined. In a brief but profoundly emotional statement, palace officials described the situation as a deeply personal and difficult moment for the Prince of Wales and his family. They urged the public to respect their privacy, reminding the world that even those born into privilege are not immune to life's trials. The message was simple yet powerful. Behind every crown beats a human heart. Outside Buckingham Palace, crowds began to form. There were no chants, no anger, only quiet compassion. People stood shoulder to shoulder in silence, some holding flowers, others leaving handwritten notes that simply read, "We're with you, William." The atmosphere was heavy, not with scandal or speculation, but with shared grief and empathy. Inside the palace, aides moved with hushed precision, aware that this was one of the most sensitive moments in recent royal history. The usual rhythm of royal life, the schedules, the meetings, the formalities, had slowed to a respectful halt. Across homes, schools, and offices, people spoke of the prince not as a figurehead, but as a man. One carrying the impossible weight of expectation, tradition, and now, personal pain. This announcement has done more than just shock the world. It has reminded everyone that even those born into history's most famous family are still vulnerable, still human. As messages of support flood in from world leaders, fellow royals, and everyday citizens, one truth stands clear. This is not just a royal headline, it's a human story. One that has united people across continents in compassion for a man who has given so much of himself to serve others. Tonight, the world isn't just talking about royalty, it's reflecting on resilience, empathy, and the fragile strength that connects us all. Prince William's struggle, now laid bare before the world, has reshaped how people perceive the very heart of the monarchy. For decades, he has symbolized composure, grace, and unshakable duty. But this moment revealed something far more profound. It reminded everyone that even those born into privilege are not immune to the same heartbreaks and hardships that define the human experience. Behind the crown and the polished appearances lies a man, one who bleeds, feels, and carries the silent weight of expectation. As the story continued to unfold, one question lingered in the hearts of millions. What comes next for the man who has always placed duty above himself? That question echoed like a soft whisper across the nation, carried through homes, newsrooms, and quiet corners of prayer. When night fell over London, Buckingham Palace was transformed. Bathed in the soft golden hue of twilight, its grand facade reflected the flickering light of hundreds of candles laid tenderly along its iron gates. The air was heavy with reverence, still, solemn, almost sacred. The pavements outside the palace became a living sea of tribute. Bouquets of fresh flowers, handwritten notes sealed with teardrops, small tokens of love left by those compelled to stand in solidarity. There were no chants, no outbursts, no chaos, only silence filled with meaning and hearts united by compassion. Across Britain, something extraordinary unfolded. From city streets to remote villages, people paused, not out of obligation, but out of genuine empathy. Social divisions faded away. Age, class, and background ceased to matter. For one evening, the entire nation breathed as one, united not by ceremony or duty, but by the quiet strength of collective compassion. Even social media, so often a battlefield of opinions and noise, became a place of tenderness. Timelines overflowed with heartfelt tributes. Photos of Prince William laughing with his children, comforting those in need. and standing tall during times of crisis. Stories poured in from people who had met him, however briefly, recalling his warmth, his sincerity, and his rare ability to listen without judgment. Hashtags once used for gossip turned into messages of empathy and admiration. The digital world, for a moment, reflected the very humanity that the prince himself has always embodied. From every corner of the globe came messages of support. Celebrities, world leaders, and everyday citizens alike shared their admiration and concern. Even those who had once distanced themselves from royal life reportedly reached out in quiet solidarity, setting aside differences to honor not the crown, but the man beneath it. This wasn't about royalty or protocol anymore. It was about humanity. In that collective stillness, something beautiful emerged. For the first time in a long while, people saw Prince William not as a future king, but as a man facing the same storms of emotion as anyone else. His quiet strength reflected in the flicker of every candle, his pain mirrored in the tears of strangers who gathered at the palace gates. Grief, it seemed, recognized no titles. Sorrow respected no privilege. Every flower placed, every letter written, became more than a gesture. It became a silent promise. You are not alone. The outpouring of love that surrounded him reflected the very compassion he has extended to others throughout his life. In this shared moment of vulnerability, the royal family's humanity shone brighter than any crown. The invisible wall between royalty and the public seemed to dissolve, replaced by something far deeper. A mutual understanding that beneath every title, every emblem, and every oath of service beats the same fragile heart. From the softly glowing gates of Buckingham Palace to millions of screens around the world, what unfolded was not just mourning. It was a global moment of empathy, a recognition that true strength lies not in perfection, but in the courage to be human.